Welcome back to True Cyber Crimes, a show where we explore the digital disasters that make you say, wow, you know what? I'm actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, today's episode is a masterpiece. Symphony of Chaos, Shakespearean tragedy performed entirely with power cables.
Because this is the story of how one technician, one unplugged cable, and one very bad decision grounded every British Airways flight for the entire holiday weekend.
So, not a cyber attack, not a hacker, not a rogue artificial intelligence bot, just some guy. I think we won't say Dave. That's who we talked about last time. Uh, some guy or gal who pulled the wrong plug.
It's the IT equivalent of tripping over the vacuum cord and shutting down the entire Death Star.
Yep, this is episode 2 of IT Blunders. We're calling it the Big Red Switch disaster.
So it's May 27th, 2017, holiday weekend in the UK. Heathrow Airport is packed. Families going on vacation, business travelers trying to get home, people who still clap when the plane lands.
Oh man, the airport is buzzing. British Airways is ready. Planes are fueled. Crews scheduled. Systems humming.
And then at 9:30 a.m., everything stops, like someone hit pause on reality.
Check-in systems dead. Baggage systems dead. Flight operations dead. Customer service, you guessed it.
Dead.
Yeah.
Even British Airways website crashed. You know it's bad when the website goes down. That's like the digital version of fainting.
Yeah. So Heathrow instantly turns into a scene from The Walking Dead, but with more suitcases, fewer crossbows, and probably a lot more pissed off people.
People are crying, people are yelling, people are doing that thing where they pretend to be calm, but their eye is twitching like a Morse code signal. That happens to me sometimes.
Yeah, same here. And British Airways was just completely blind. They couldn't see passenger lists. They couldn't see flight plans. They couldn't even see which planes were supposed to be where, which is terrifying.
It was like someone unplugged the entire airline.
Well, it's exactly what happened, Chris.
Yeah. So here's the official story. British Airways had a massive data center in West London. Inside that data center was a technician, a contractor. He's just performing routine maintenance.
Yeah, routine maintenance, the two words that should strike fear into every IT professional. Just
Yeah.
leave it steady state, Chris. Steady
Yeah.
state.
Yeah. And it's the biggest weekend. Don't touch anything. And during this maintenance, the technician accidentally shut off the uninterruptible power supply, the UPS.
Yeah, the thing that keeps the servers alive when the power goes out, the thing that should never be turned off. The thing that
Isn't that why
usually has a
that
giant sign on it that says, do not touch.
isn't that why it's uninterruptible? But
Right. It's supposed to be.
do not touch, and yet he touched it.
He didn't just touch it. He pulled the plug. He hit the big red switch. He Thanos snapped the entire British Airways IT infrastructure. Although Thanos only managed to dissolve 50% of the universe, so this guy was twice as badass as Thanos.
Yeah, thousands of servers went dark instantly. There was no graceful shutdown, no failover. There was no redundancy.
Yeah, it was like turning off your PC by kicking the power strip, except the PC is an entire airline.
You're you're not supposed to just kick the power strip to shut it off? Huh, who knew?
There's more graceful ways.
Now here's where the story gets even worse. Because when the technician realized what he'd done, he tried to fix it.
Oof. No, no.
There's no graceful shut off, and he turned the power back on.
Oh, no.
And when the power surged back into the system, it fried the servers.
Yeah, so it's he like dropped all the servers in the toilet and then tried drying them off in the microwave.
The surge corrupted databases, it damaged hardware, and it knocked out critical systems that British Airways needed to run flights. That's pretty important.
Yeah, and an important detail here, because the servers were physically damaged, the recovery path is completely different. It's not just turn it back on,
Yeah.
rebuild it from scratch.
Which takes a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of time. Meanwhile, Heathrow's melting down like a toddler in a grocery store.
So, over the next 72 hours, British Airways canceled more than 700 flights.
And 75,000 passengers were stranded as a result.
Heathrow looked like a zombie apocalypse. People sleeping on the floor, suitcases piled up like luggage mountain, staff members crying in the bathroom.
And the cost to British Airways was estimated to be about 80 million euros or 100 million US.
All because of routine maintenance and one unplugged cable.
And the kicker, the airline tried to blame the technician. They said he didn't follow proper procedures, which is at least a little accurate, but
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't excuse the bigger issue here.
But the investigators they discovered something interesting.
Something very interesting.
The real problem wasn't the technician; it was the fact that British Airways had no proper disaster recovery plan. I think we've talked about things like that before.
Yeah. Cyber resiliency. Sound familiar? Yeah, no redundant data center, which is crazy for an entire airline. No failover site, no mirrored systems, no backup power facility.
They essentially put all their eggs in one basket, and then someone kicked the basket.
Yeah, most airlines, especially major carriers, have multiple data centers. If one goes down, the other takes over instantly.
British Airways, one data center, one UPS, one technician, one catastrophic failure.
Yeah, it just blows my mind. I mean, it's like having a hospital that just has one generator, um, or a podcast running with only one microphone.
Very nice, very nice. Which we do, by the way. So please don't sneeze on it.
Okay, try my best. The point is, the technician made a mistake, but the system should have been designed to survive that mistake.
Yeah, human error is inevitable. Disaster recovery is supposed to make sure human error doesn't take down the entire company.
So let's talk about some of the side stories that came out of this meltdown.
Oh, there were some gems. This is exciting. Thousands of bags got stranded at Heathrow. They had to be shipped to passengers all over the world.
Some people got their bag 6 weeks later. Took 6 weeks for some people to get their luggage back. At that point, you've emotionally moved on. You started a new life. You bought new clothes. You've probably even forgotten what your old socks look like.
British Airways phone lines were so overwhelmed that people were waiting 5 hours just to talk to a human.
5 hours, that's longer than probably most of the flights they canceled.
Yeah, right. Then there was the CEO who went on TV and said, "We are very sorry for the inconvenience."
Can you just hear people screaming at the TV? Inconvenience? My guy, you stranded 75,000 people. That's like an entire football stadium worth of people.
Yeah. Oh,
that's not an inconvenience. That's biblical.
Yeah. Twitter was a war zone. People were posting pictures of themselves sleeping on the floor like they were in a disaster movie.
One guy tweeted, "I've been here so long, I think I work here now."
Honestly, he probably did. It was probably the technician.
Yeah. He hopes he works there.
He was trying to get out of Dodge.
Yeah. After the dust settled, British Airways launched an internal investigation, as you would expect.
Yeah, and the findings were brutal.
They discovered that the data center had been understaffed, shocker. Maintenance procedures were unclear. Documentation was outdated, another shocker. The disaster recovery plan was basically hope nothing bad happens.
Spoiler, something bad happened.
Yeah, the technician was suspended. That's crazy, just suspended. But the real blame fell on management for failing to invest in redundancy.
And the airlines spent millions upgrading their systems afterwards.
Yeah, that's insult to injury because they already had to spend just to get up and running again, and then they got to spend millions to fix the problem, which shouldn't have been a problem in the first place.
Yeah.
Nothing motivates a company to improve like losing $100 million and becoming a global punchline.
And the reality of that is it would have been a fraction of that to have a redundant data center. I mean, my
Yeah.
goodness. So what do we learn from this?
Well, I think number one, redundancy is not optional. If your entire business depends on one data center, you don't have a business. You have a very expensive single point of failure.
And number two, document your procedures. If the technician didn't know the consequences of pulling the cables, that's a management failure.
Yeah. And you know what? It's this almost doesn't like I feel like it shouldn't even be number three. It should just be inferred, but test your disaster recovery plan. Just having a plan doesn't mean anything if you haven't put it through its paces and make sure things do fail over when the power gets kicked out. If the plan is we'll figure it out, well, congratulations, you don't actually have a plan.
And number four, never underestimate the power of one person to ruin everything.
Or fix everything, but mostly ruin everything.
Right. So that's it for episode 2 of IT Blunders, the Big Red Switch.
Yeah, next week we're diving into the CrowdStrike, global blue screen of death.
That was a very exciting time. I remember it all happening and going down.
Yep, live and in living color. Yeah, well, if you see a big red switch,
don't touch it.
Don't ever touch it.
All right, Nick, thanks again.
Chris.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right, see you.